it's Rebecca and today is another book review day, and this is my 7th book that I have been reading for the 2016 BookaShelf Reading Challenge. I will leave a link down below in the description to explain what the challenge is about, but basically it's a challenge to read 26 books throughout the year, with each book coming from a different category, and each category begins with a different letter of the alphabet. So the book that I have been reading, you'll see in a moment, comes from the category of Q, a book with a question in the title. And this is my very first audiobook. A friend of mine had been listening to this particular book and was thoroughly enjoying it, and she recommended it to me, and it is written, no, it's obviously written by the author. What am I saying? It's read by the author, which I was really interested in hearing because it's going to have a lot more passion and emotion put into it, because obviously the person that wrote it is the person that's reading it. So I haven't been reading, but I have been listening to Is It Just Me by Miranda Hart. So I will read you the blurb and then talk to you about the book. It's weird saying book when it's actually a collection of CDs. This is a whole new experience for me. Anyway, I'll still read you the blurb and then talk to you about what I was listening to. Hello to you, dear audiobook browser. So, here's the thing. Is it just me, or does anyone else find adulthood offers no refuge from the unexpected horrors, peculiar lack of physical coordination, and sometimes unexplained nudity that accompanied childhood? Does everybody struggle with how to sit elegantly on a bar stool, use chopsticks, pretend to understand the bank crisis, deal with pedicures? Surely it's wrong for a stranger to fondle your feet. Or is it just me? I've had many an awkward experience from school to life as an office temp, and I'm here to offer my 18-year-old self, and you, some guidance on how to navigate life's rocky path. Because where is the manual to life? To stop us falling flat. Let this be my, if you will, manual. I thank you. This was amazing. So funny. If you don't know who Miranda Hart is, it's this lady here. She's a comic actress. Very funny. And this book was just brilliant. It's kind of an autobiography, in as much as it's her life and she's talking about her experiences, but it's not one of those kind of typical autobiographies where we start at birth and then we go through life and end up to where we are right now. It's anecdotes and funny stories of how Miranda has had to deal with a lot of awkward and uncomfortable situations that she's experienced in adulthood. Now, for those of you who don't know who she is, she's 6'1" tall, which is amazing. I mean, I'm 5'11" and I struggle with my height to be 6'1", but she has embraced her height and incorporated it into her comedic character, and she is very awkward. She's a very awkward woman, but that's what makes it amazing, because for those of us who are awkward, we're not very good in social situations. We say things that aren't particularly correct in these social situations because we're not overly comfortable and confident. This woman just gets through everything and doesn't seem to care. She has used so much of this awkward progression into adulthood as cannon fodder for her comic roles. Her television show Miranda contains so much of what has happened in her own life, and it is so funny, and she has used it to her advantage, which is brilliant. So this book, still feels weird saying book, this collection of CDs is divided up into various aspects of adult life. So you have work, relationships, keeping fit and healthy, appearance, fashion, and it is just so funny. One of the chapters that I particularly loved was the one about her height and how there are so many advantages and disadvantages and how difficult it is to buy clothes. I mean, like I said, I'm only 5'11" and I still find it difficult to buy clothes. This jumper I'm wearing right now is a man's jumper because women's jumpers come to here on my arm. The sleeves don't seem to want to come down to my actual wrists on women's jumpers. So a lot of things I have to wear are men's clothes just because for some reason clothes manufacturers don't see women as any taller than 5'7". She talks about Christmas experiences with the family where the mother figure insists on compulsory fun and we're going to have fun today if it's the last thing we do. And she talks about embarrassing situations where one that just makes me laugh so much. She talks about being at a wedding reception in a large marquee and she is feeling a bit cold and she's shouting to somebody to close the flaps of the marquee and the person can't hear and she's saying close the flaps and the person can't hear and then the music goes quiet just as she shouts flaps again, and just the word flaps is absolutely hilarious. Okay, I find it absolutely hilarious. There's some words that are quite funny, but it's the way she speaks. She's very posh, but not posh as in a snobby kind of way. She's just very well spoken. She has such brilliant comic timing, such a way with words. It's wonderfully delicious to listen to her speak and hear her tell her own story. One thing I did particularly like about this as well is she has a conversation with her 18-year-old self. And so often I would love to go back in time and tell my younger self that life does get better. It's not as awful as you think it is right now. It's not as frightening. It's still going to be a bit strange when you grow up, but don't worry, it certainly gets better, especially when younger Miranda, little M, has her first kiss and finds it unbelievably awkward and terrifying and finds boys extremely a whole new species because she goes to an all-girls school, so she's not used to the experience of being around boys all the time. And it is just a stunningly put together collection of stories and anecdotes and funny things, and I very rarely laugh out loud at things. I find things funny, but I'm not an out loud laugher. I was guffawing and snorting and laughing at this. And I think that comes down to hearing her voice read the words rather than reading it with my own eyes and my own voice in my head. A couple of things that one main thing really that I didn't like about the audiobook, and this isn't this one in particular, but I just found myself listening to it and my mind wandering and I'm doing other bits and pieces and I missed some of the story. So I feel like I would have to go back and listen to it again or read it again just to catch up on the bits that I missed, which was very, very frustrating because it was very funny, and then I'd kind of snap back into reality and think, oh, what's just happened? So that's not this book in particular, but just audiobooks in general. Like I said, it's my first one. I'm not used to listening to books. I'm a reader, not a listener. So it was an experience in many, many ways, but I would highly recommend this. It is so funny, and there's too much even in this for me to remember to tell you, and I would like to read it again, and I would especially like to listen to it again, which I can because I borrowed this from the library and I haven't got to take it back yet. So I will listen to it again because it did just make me laugh so much. This was just so funny and I enjoyed it so much, and it made me feel a bit better about some of the stupid things that I've said and done, because at the end of the day it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. You just get on with life and deal with it as best you can, and Miranda certainly has done that. And one thing that I really admire her for is, even though she's had all these awkward experiences, she still had her dream of becoming a comedic actress, and she's achieved it, and she's been in Hollywood and she's had a really successful television program, and these are things that even when you are an awkward teenager, not fully understanding what life is about, you've still got a dream and you've still got something to aim for, which I know I've given up on a lot of dreams because I either can't be bothered or don't think I'm good enough or don't really like to persevere. But she did, and it's certainly a lesson to be learned, so I would really recommend this. So if you're interested in hearing any of my other book reviews, then please subscribe to my channel. I put new videos out every time I've read a book or listened to a book, like I have this time. I occasionally give writing advice and talk about other writing-y bits and bobs and things and stuff. So if you're interested in reading and or writing, then please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Have a good day. Bye bye.